Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are too complex. We got a before Christmas episode ready for y'all. So happy holidays to everybody out there watching. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate, happy holidays to you. But before we get into the content, of course, we got to do like every single week, man. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We 9 away from that magic number of 500. So hit that subscribe button for us. And of course, hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers that we drop every single week. D-Lo, the weekend before Christmas, or the week before Christmas. How was your week, my friend?
The week before Christmas was hectic as I don't know what with work. Got to tell people, yeah, you ain't going to catch me next week or the week after that because I'm going to be out.
Be gone.
So a lot of work getting done in order to make sure I'm, just taking care of business before I leave. And then, shopping and whatnot. And today I was out shopping right before we got on and doing stuff, picking up the kids from sleepovers or my daughter from a sleepover and whatnot. So, I mean, just, the usual Christmas things. We got some family coming in and we will do some things tonight. And it's just a lot going on, man. Busy, but
it's being with the family, man.
This is my favorite time of year. I'll say this, though, before I turn it back over to you. Got a question or I'm always trying to be insightful with things that go on with me and notice the evolution of myself and others. So I've always said that this time of year is my favorite time of year. But as I've gotten older, I've noticed that things have changed and my gratitude, me trying to show gratitude and put things into perspective has made me realize why this is my favorite time of the year. So when I was a kid, when we were a kid, I can speak for myself, I can't speak for you or anybody else, but I know that this was my favorite time of the year because I knew I was going to receive some things like whatever I wanted from the year, or for the most part, something that was highly anticipated, toy or electronic or something like that, money. I knew I was going to receive that. And that was why I really look forward to this time of year. I always love spending time with family, but that was really the thing. Like I knew I was going to get something. Yeah. Now, as I've gotten older, that has drastically swayed to the other side. I really appreciate and am grateful for the fact that I can provide for my loved ones and still be around family and whatnot, because family is always going to be a centerpiece of everything that I do, even though sometimes I might not spend as much time as I think I do with them, but I do spend time with them. But being able to provide for them is really something that I'm highly grateful for. And I feel like it's probably the same thing with you, especially with everything you went through this year and, being able to do the same things. It's just crazy how we have evolved as people, as men, from where we were as kids into who we are now as parents and family men. So it's facts. Just putting things into perspective, bro.
That is facts. Cause I mean, I was just like you. I knew I was going to receive something, you know what I'm saying? As long as I got good grades and was a good kid throughout the year, you know what I'm saying? Did good in sports, I was going to get something around the holiday time. And I looked forward to it because it was always my family, even though we didn't have a lot, they made sure that the kids in the family had whatever they wanted. So it was a struggle, but they hit it a lot. They hit it very, very well as a family. So I'm just like you. When I was a kid, it was more so, the holidays come around. Christmas about to get that PlayStation, about to get that video game I wanted. I'm about to get the shoes that I wanted. And I got my J's under the tree. I already know I got my J's. It was dope. But now it's like being able to provide those same things for my daughter, for Sam, and see her face light up whenever she tell me what's on her Christmas list. And I'm able to put that under the tree, or I ain't got no tree here because I ain't got no family, so it's a little different for me. Y'all know, I tell y'all.
You have a family, they're not there.
Agree.
Put it in perspective.
Agree.
What I realized this week with looking at some of the things coming through under our videos and stuff is you can't misspeak anything. You have to say
that's
exactly.
That's facts. People gonna catch you, bro. People gonna catch you. But yeah, I do have family. I'm just 3,000 miles away from them. So I'm here by myself, I'm not by myself, if that makes sense. So So I didn't put up a tree. You know, it's just me and my daughter. You know, Sam. I'm gonna wrap the presents up that I got for her, but I don't have a tree. You know, I really don't have nobody close to me to spend that with other than her. And she got her family with her mom, and they doing all the whole Christmas thing. Yada yada yada. I'm not gonna get into all that. But just being able to know what's on her Christmas list and be able to provide that for her, exactly what she wants, everything she wants, that gives me a different sense of gratitude around this time now from whenever we had our innocence back in the day when we wanted things. Now we have our priorities now as adults where we given things. So it's a big difference in that sense. So I can dig it, D-Lo. I'm the same way, bro. Yeah. I'm the same way, man. It's amazing to be able to do that for our family, for real.
Yep. How was your week though?
My week was cool. Week was cool. It was busy with a lot of meetings and a lot of, you know, shaking hands, you know, greasing palms, paws. Just trying to make sure that I'm in a position to be great coming into the next year with my new career, things of that nature. So it was good. A lot of phone calls being made that weren't answered because people are on vacation. So I'm trying to sell around a time where ain't nobody answering phone. So kind of boring in that sense, but it was super duper busy up until yesterday when I was off. So I'm actually off work until next Thursday. Then I go back to work and then I'm off for the holiday again. So whatever, but everything was cool, man. I mean, Sam is with her mom for Christmas. She's gonna be with me for the New Year. So whenever she comes, we're gonna have a bunch of fun and we're gonna make it do what it do, man. So it was a good week leading up. A lot of shopping, like you said, for her, and making sure that she got everything she wants, man. So that's really all it was, brother. Really all it was.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I ran across this post on Instagram, bro, that was weird in a sense. And I want to see how you feel about this. So it's a young woman, works for a company. They gave her name, but I'm not going to call her name out. It says she's a young lady from New York, from Long Island, who donated her kidney to her boss, but got fired.
She got fired
for taking too long to recover from the surgery. D-Lo, if I would just go, I'm suing. I ain't gonna lie, I'm suing. I'm suing the company for everything because, bro, I'm not gonna donate my kidney to you, and then you fire me because I took too long to recover from the surgery, bro. D-Lo, what would you do in that situation, bro?
The first question I would ask is, did the boss come back before she did, or was the boss out as well? Second question I would ask is, if I am donating this kidney, because you always got to look at things selfishly sometimes as well. And so this probably was the first question I would ask. I'm donating this kidney. Yes, I love working here, whatnot, but what is in it for me? You always have to look at it for what's in it for me, unfortunately, in the society that we live in right now. And then the second question would be, well, is the boss back or not? But I'm like you, like if I'm going so far as to donate my kidney to this person so that they can live or they can live a normal life or whatever the case is, whatever the situation was for that person, and then I turn around and get fired because I'm taking too long. I took something out of my body to put into your body. So, of course, my body has to probably adjust more than yours does. I don't know. Probably should ask my wife how that works. She's in the medical industry. But taking something out, I think, takes more of a process for your body to adjust than putting something in. I could be wrong about that, but that's my assumption. So of course she probably is going to take more time than that. How long did she take though? It
doesn't really say, but it says that the young lady filed a complaint with the New York State Human Rights Commission, alleged that she was mistreated and fired after the woman got what she wanted. So her boss was also a woman. And it says she was mistreated and fired after the woman got what she wanted. It says she was hired as an assistant by the boss in 2009, donated her kidney to a stranger to help Brucia, with the manager, move up on the organ donor list. Despite not being the best match, Stevens underwent surgery in August 2011. So the young lady who is Stevens. Upon her return to work, she alleged mistreatment, including screaming, demotion, and relocation to a dealership far away from home. And then she said she consulted a psychiatrist, and after her attorney sent a letter to Atlantic Automotive Group, which is the group that she worked for, she was fired within a week. So she donated the kidney to somebody else to help the boss move up on the list of donation. And then she got the kidney from that person she donated it to. And then she ended up getting fired and mistreated after she got back to work.
So then it's a bit of manipulation in that as well. So that doesn't look good.
The boss is slimy, dog. The boss is slimy.
Yeah. The boss is working some. Yeah. I would be really pissed. It probably would go to the extent that she has gone to hire lawyers, sue, and all that stuff, because it's just not right that I am knowingly giving my kidney away so that it can ultimately get to you. And then you turn around and treat me with such bad intent when I come back, and then ultimately terminating my job. It's hard out here, as we know. In the economy, it's been hard. It's getting better, but we anticipate it's going to get worse again. So to lose your job can be devastating to some.
Detrimental, right? Devastating. Yeah.
So you take my income away, and I gave you something out of my body, which is one of the most expensive things that you can give. It's crazy.
It's tough, man. I would have did the same thing she did. I would have tried to go through the ranks and try to figure out how I can get the situation handled, but I'm suing. I would, what, man? Yeah, all right. Yeah, you take my kidney and fire me, you getting sued. That's point blank period.
You can treat me like this? You think
you can do this to me?
Yeah, what Denzel said, Turner, you think you can do this to me?
Kong ain't got you. You'll be playing basketball in Pelican Bay.
Yeah, you can't do this to me.
You can't do this to me.
Hey, Jay. Whatever that woman name is.
But another little quick joint that I had, D-Lo, was, did you see what they saying about Jager Bombs? You know what a Jager Bomb is, right? I'm guessing you went to college. You know what a Jager Bomb is.
Yeah. I went to school with the I went to school with them.
Yeah. So there's new studies show that Jager Bombs could be just as harmful as cocaine.
Ooh, glad I didn't partake in that.
Because they're saying that, of course, alcohol is a depressant, and Jager Bombs, which I thought, because I have had a Jager Bomb before, but not the type that like cocaine. I thought a Jager Bomb was a shot of Jägermeister in a beer, but the real Jager Bomb is a shot of Jägermeister in an energy drink.
Yeah, now I've had that one.
You've had that one, I've
had it. Okay, but only once. Okay. I've had it once, and I don't really drink at all. Honestly, hardly ever.
Unless it's tequila.
I mean, if I drink it's
tequila,
and I hardly drink that. I got bottles and bottles and bottles of tequila downstairs, and they all basically full unless somebody come over and drink. Right. Somebody that you know very well always comes over and takes.
Hey, man.
Anyway,
me and her the same. Me and her one of the same. Low key, I ain't gonna lie.
But yeah, I have. But in college, like I said, I went to school with them. That was the thing back then. That and Fireball and something else. I forgot what it was.
It was probably Fireball and Angry Orchard, because it's called an Angry Balls.
No.
Okay, never mind.
It was Blue Motorcycle is what it was called.
Okay, got you. I hear it.
And so so I've had one of those. So yeah, that's the actual. Okay, yeah.
But it's saying, of course, the energy drink is a stimulant, and the alcohol is a suppressant or a depressant, and it can mess your mood up, so to speak. So they're saying that it's kind of like cocaine, and then they also said that partaking in Jager Bombs with the energy drink, not the beer like I had it before, but with the energy drink, can be seen as a gateway drug to hard substances.
I mean, listen. I wouldn't be surprised if that is in fact the case, because we know that, maybe I shouldn't say this, but whatever. We know that certain demographics do certain type of drugs, and cocaine,
methamphetamines,
those type of drugs. What did Walter White sell?
Meth.
Yeah, that type of stuff. They get into that, so it could be some truth to it, but without like knowing wholeheartedly and 100% facts about it. I can't say that that's absolutely true, but I can see some validity in it.
Mm-hmm. What that boy J. Cole say? Only Breaking Bad in the lab. Thought y'all was making meth.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you feel me? But yeah, man. So that was just something that I saw. I was like, damn, really?
But let me ask you this though: is it like the cocaine because of what it does to your mood, or is it like cocaine because how addictive it is and whatnot? Because it's a difference. So, I think, in my opinion,
when I was looking it up, it was a study from Wales, and they said this combo could have serious effects on your health, which researchers warning that mixing energy drinks with alcohol could possibly do the same amount of damage as cocaine. Alcohol acts as a depressant, whilst conversely, the energy drink is a stimulant, and some energy drinks can contain as much as 10 times the amount of caffeine as what they call it. They said fizzy drinks because they overseas, but soda.
And then. So I mean, it's not just the Jager Bombs then, because there's plenty of other alcoholic beverages.
Because there was a buddy of mine that used to drink Red Bull and vodka all the time, and he was always
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it also says not only would this lead to your heart rate picking up speed, but the mixed drinks can lead to changes with the brain, which is similar to the effects of cocaine. According to a 2016 study conducted by the team at Purdue, the results found the popular drink causes a change in the brain's neurochemistry at an unbelievable speed. So it messes with your brain crazy.
Yeah,
and it says
that's
this
just
study
buzzwords, I believe.
Yeah. And this is what I said a second ago. This study also found that frequently drinking Jager bombs could increase the likelihood of feeling a desire or actually using drugs such as cocaine and methamphetamines later in life. So that is, bruh, like stay away from the Jager bombs, kids.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many of the individuals that I went to school with that did partake in that on a regular basis, what they do in their spare time nowadays.
Crazy, huh?
But the thing about that is a lot of them are in like some high positions across the country in various industries. So I mean, I don't know them personally, but I know the individuals I went to school with, and so and I know what a lot of them do now. So anyway, I can see it.
But yeah, just to tap it off real quick, it says usually when you're drinking alcohol, you get tired and you want to go home because it's a depressant, and it,
Yeah.
But it says the energy drinks,
or you can't go home because you're so drunk.
Exactly. It says the energy drinks mask that, so people may underestimate how intoxicated they are, end up staying out later, consuming more alcohol, and engaging in more risky behavior or more hazardous drinking practices. So
I don't know. See now, the more you read in that study, the more I'm like, people that's just drunk off of straight alcohol and nothing
by
else.
Itself. Yeah, but that's what they're saying though. Like alcohol by itself, you get tired and you get, but I don't know, bro. But regardless, if you're inebriated, regardless if it's hard drugs or if it's alcohol, you're going to your thought process and your mind is going to be. If you're inebriated, you're going to make bad decisions anyway. So it don't matter if it's alcohol or drugs. Just don't do it. Like, period. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or be modest with your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't go crazy. Just be modest.
Yeah.
Last one I had as far as I do have a couple more, but the last one I had as far as like just us as a people. There was a young lady in Ohio that was charged with abuse of a corpse after suffering a miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it says that, not getting too deep into the story, but I didn't know that, and I of course I've never dealt with a situation, and I apologize to the women who have if you're watching the show, but I didn't know that if you have a miscarriage at home, you have to notify the authorities or a hospital or somebody so they can properly, I don't want to say the word dispose, but they can properly handle the fetus or the corpse. I didn't know you had to do that.
I didn't either.
So what happened with her was she had a miscarriage in the back. Yeah, but she had a miscarriage in the bathroom. And she disposed of it by just throwing it in the trash can. So she's charged with abuse of a corpse because she didn't. What? I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because if that's the case, if it's not reported to the proper proper authorities, then, women or whoever, the people that are involved with the women that are pregnant could do something to make the pregnancy terminate however they wanted to terminate, and then they could just get rid of it afterwards and going about their business. Whereas now, with you having to go to the proper authorities, they can determine what the cause of death actually was, rather than just saying, "Oh, you had a miscarriage. All right, move on." You know what I mean? So I'm assuming that is the reason, but it could be wrong about that.
Yeah, but it says that she was 22 weeks in September whenever everything happened. So 22 weeks, that's 4 months pregnant, 5 months, 5 months pregnant. So that baby had a heartbeat. So that was a living, you know what I'm saying? That was a living creature at that point. And talking about creature, I'm so sorry. that was a living being at that point. And whenever she went to the hospital and she got checked after she had the miscarriage, the nurse contacted the authorities, contacted the police, and she got arrested for mishandling the corpse. So it was just so it was strange, because I was like, really, that but see, of course, as a man, I'm
naive to
that, because I don't have to go through it. Women have to go through so much with their bodies, man, with pregnancy, and it's just so much women have to bear whenever it comes to their bodies that we have no idea about. And I had no clue that this was actually a thing that you have to, because whenever I was researching it, I did a little bit of research. I Googled it, and it said that you at least have to give it a proper burial. Like, you can bury it in your garden around a bunch of flowers. You just have to at least give it a proper burial if you're not going to contact the authorities. But the main thing is to contact the hospital and let them know what happened, and they can come get the corpse and take it and do what they need to do with it. But it was just weird.
Conflicting to me.
It is. But if you bury it, it's not. She just threw it in the trash. She just threw the corpse in the trash. So that's what's improper use. How?
Yeah, but to me, it's conflicting, because if you can give it a proper burial, as you said, use air quotes there, by burying it in the garden or whatever, but then you also have to contact at least the hospital so they can come. That's conflicting to me.
No. You don't. If you give it a proper burial, you don't have to contact anybody. But the suggested thing to do is to contact the hospital or the authorities for them to actually come and get the that's what it is. They said if it was 20 weeks or more, then that's the suggested. But as long as you don't just throw it in the trash, it's not improper something. What was it? It's not misuse of a corpse.
Yeah, that.
It's just weird. Like it is kind of like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what am I supposed to do for real? Like, what am I really supposed to do? But if it happens, just call the hospital, tell them to come pick you up. You know what I'm saying? So that way you ain't got to worry about nothing. But that was just something that was weird to me. It was just not necessarily weird. I just didn't know. Like, really, that's what they got to do? That's crazy. But yeah.
So a story has run this week about one of the popular airlines, and it's planning out like it's a new policy, but from what going on their site, it's not really a new policy. So Southwest Airlines this week stories have been run about their policy of customer size, and what that is let it run. Let me get through this. All right, so what the policy is if a customer is overweight and are pushing the boundary threshold of a seat, then Southwest can offer them a complimentary seat for free to fly on the plane. Now, that's what the headline says. It says Southwest to offer free seats to oversized past flyers. But when you actually go to Southwest Airlines site to read the policy, their suggestion, kind of like what you just mentioned earlier, so it's kind of conflicting to me, is that if everybody knows that they're truly oversized or not. If you know that you're oversized and you're going to be a hindrance to others around you in the seat, it's suggested that you purchase a seat. However, if you don't purchase the seat and you go to Southwest to fly, then the service attendant, whatever they're called, the gate attendant, you can discuss with them about getting an extra seat, and it can be given to you complimentary. So when I first saw the headlines, I was like, why would anybody not say, oh, I'm overweight, give me an extra seat? But then when you read the actual policy on the website, it's like, okay, we're suggesting that you pay for an extra seat. That way we make sure that we have enough inventory for everybody that needs to fly this flight. But this is where it's conflicting to me, because if you go to the gate, if you don't pay for the extra seat and you go to the gate and say, you know, I know that I'm over that boundary, I'm going to need a complimentary seat, and they give it to you. What happens to all the other individuals that, or maybe one or two of the other individuals that paid for the flight to go at that time, and now they can't go because?
Well, no, I think what's happening is that they said that's why they said if they have enough inventory, meaning if the flight isn't full, if we got seats to actually give you, then we can put you here where we know that the seat beside it is not paid for. Is empty. So
yeah,
if the flight is full, you SOL, basically. You're gonna have to be a hindrance to everybody around you because you ain't pay for that extra seat. But if we have seats available, if you know it's not a full flight, we can put you where we know the seat beside you is going to be empty, so that way you're comfortable and the person beside you is comfortable. That's what that is.
I think it's fine right now. I think it's fine right now. It hasn't been much commotion about it, I don't believe, because it hasn't been any type of altercation. But I see it now. Altercation is going to happen where somebody is not going to be able to fly because of this policy.
Crazy.
And all hell's going to break loose. With this, you don't have discrimination, or why does this group of individuals get to have this type of treatment and everybody else that it's going to blow up.
And but you know what's crazy though is if Southwest was smart, they would just be like, you know what, the flight is full. We suggest that y'all, you know, the policy is to pay for it up front before you even get here. So you just gonna have to be uncomfortable. Right. Period. You should have paid for the extra seat.
Or not fly. That's it. My thing is,
or not fly. Or not fly.
Or not fly. Yeah.
Yeah, because either way, you didn't take you didn't buy the flight. You didn't buy the seat because you thought you was gonna finesse and get it free. So, but the flight is full. So either don't fly or be uncomfortable. One of the two. Because everybody got to make this flight. Everybody who paid for their seats gonna fly on this flight. So since you didn't do what we suggested you do up front, be uncomfortable or don't fly. One of the two. Which one you gonna pick? That's what I would say.
I see it now.
That's what I would say.
I see it now in big bold letters in the headlines. Southwest being sued for discrimination. I see it.
You think that's gonna happen?
Yeah. I don't want to put it on that company because you know people love Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest is dope. Southwest. I had a couple of friends that worked for Southwest back in the day, but associates. I wouldn't call them friends, associates. But it can all be. It won't happen as long as they do exactly what I just said. Look, you should have paid for it. So since you thought you was gonna finesse, be uncomfortable. Or you can make the next flight going into your destination ain't full, so you can wait for the next flight and get the complimentary seat. But if you want to fly right now, you got to be uncomfortable. Period.
Yeah.
They could be all solved by that. There's no discrimination in that. You holding everybody accountable: black, white, yellow, fat, all of them getting held accountable. Period. Should have paid for it.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. So I thought love was supposed to, love don't cost a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Tinder thinks otherwise. So Tinder just this week released their new subscription plan where for $500 a month, you be a part of their subscription service, which is called Tinder Select. And with that service, you are like a part of the 1% of users that have access to this subscription. You get increased visibility amongst all users on Tinder. You have the ability to be seen by the app's most sought after profiles, and you can also DM without matching. What do you think about this, Sticks? Because I use Tinder. Well, we all know what Tinder was back in the day. I don't know what it is nowadays, but we all know what it was.
It's the same thing, D-Lo. It's the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? So then, that being said, my guy, what do you think about this?
Oh, I'm so glad I ain't got to use none of these sites no more, bro. I'm so glad I ain't got to use none of these sites no more. There's D-Lo.
$6,000 a year you got to pay.
$500 a month, bro. Like
$500, $4.99 is what the subscriptions is, but so you just round it up $1.05.
When I was on these sites, they couldn't even get me to pay $10 for the plus. Because for what? For what? I'm not on here for that. Listen, bro. But like you said, you know, they always say a little don't cost a thing, but apparently it costs $500 a month. So as long as, but you know, if you
is it love that you paying for? Or is you paying for, you know,
for premium, you know, something else? You might as well go on OnlyFans at that point. Then in the world. You might as well go on OnlyFans for that. It's cheaper on OnlyFans. You might as well go there. You could get a subscription for $15 a month and get the same thing. So what are you doing?
Are you going to partake in that, or are you watching somebody else partaking that with OnlyFans? At least with Tinder, you can match with somebody and actually.
So we talked about this.
I know they do meetups. But my boy was paying $100,000 a month.
Who?
To be
the dude with Ruby Rose?
Yeah.
No, he paid $60,000 or almost $100,000 in total. It wasn't a month. It was in total. But we all know that a lot of these OF employees, I'm going to call them employees. We all know that all these OnlyFans employees.
OF would dispute that, but go ahead.
They would dispute it. But we know that these employees of this site, they do meetups for a certain amount of money. The subscription.
I'm sure it's more than 5,000. I mean, 500.
But it's a one-time thing though. Unless you really want to like keep doing it every single month, it's a one-time thing. You get the subscription for $15 a month. Maybe some of them might be more, but I ain't, you know, they might be $50 a month. Who knows? But $50 a month is less than $4.99. And if you want to meet up one time, even if it is $500, you still only paying $1,000 as opposed to $600.
Right.
So just go on OnlyFans. Why would you use Tinder, which is a site that you can do that for free and pay $500 a month? You're not like you said, for what I remember Tinder to be, that's what I used it for. So I'm not paying $500 to do the same thing. Not doing it. But like you said, it's the top 1% of people. So it might be a higher chance that you can find your significant other on there, maybe even get married. Maybe. I'm just trying to give it a benefit of the doubt.
I mean, yeah, that is that possibility. I don't want to negate that possibility. That is a possibility. But we all know. I mean, I'm sure it's run by Match now, so they've done some things to change it around. Perhaps, I don't know. I ain't been on that mug in like 10 years.
I ain't been on that mug in a minute either, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
But the fact of the matter is, some crazy is gonna pay for this, and they gonna just go to DM and all kind of people, meet up with them, and it's just always issues with stuff like this. And so,
can we go back to the old days, D-Lo, and just meet people in person?
Well, that's not how it flows now. You might be they might look at you. This generation might look at you like you crazy now because you said you met a person met somebody in person rather than on Instagram or on Tinder or on stuff like that. Not like it used to be shunned upon when we were in our 20s to meet somebody online and actually spring a relationship.
But we were in our 20s though, D-Lo. We ain't have all these. We barely have Facebook.
But that's what I'm saying. So we're so ingrained in the technology era now and doing everything online that this is how they accomplish relationships and smash sessions and all that. You know what I mean? So
the situationships.
Yeah, the situationship. So I mean, we are the ones that get looked at with the side eye now because we prefer to do things in person and we don't really trust the online environment, whereas they're like, oh, they're all in. But I mean, I don't know. I thought when I saw the price, I was like, ain't no way. But then I thought about it. I was like, some crazy is going to do this and like cause a whole issue for Tinder and this process and this subscription that they have.
I would be interested to see what the subscription rate to that is, because like I said, you could even get me to do the $9.99 because I'm not on there for that. I'm not on there to find my significant other. That's not what I'm here for. But you
can use that $9.99 at the gas station to purchase what you need to purchase when the time is right for that person that swiped right on you as well.
You feel me? You feel me? But no, I would be very, very interested to see what the subscription rate of that would be after. When did they roll this out?
It was announced this week. I don't know if it's actually live yet or not, but it was announced this week.
We gonna revisit this in a year to see exactly what that subscription rate was, because if you doing this, you a damn fool. Because I'm not on Tinder. I don't know too many people who I know whoever used Tinder that's on that to find the love of their life. Never have not heard of it. Have not heard of it.
Right.
So I didn't find my lady on. You introduced me to her. So
well, yeah.
I don't even. You know what I'm saying?
Me and my wife, Facebook did us justice, so to speak.
Yeah. But
Instagram
did us justice. So
yeah,
of course, that was set up. That was set up. Yeah. But it definitely won't Tinder, because if it was on Tinder, nah. Nah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna get into that. We just go. Yeah. What's your name? What's your name, for brother?
That's on you.
I ain't got no more of the quick hits for that, but I guess we can jump into one of the segments of the day. So we've all talked about, and we all know about as a community, the whole situation with KeKe Palmer and Darius Jackson, right? So it started off with this whole episode with them started off with the Usher residency and how she was dressed and how he took to social media to address how he felt about what she wore. And that led into a slippery slope of, you know, her making songs and her talking about, you know, different things online, to it getting escalated to the point where she was, you know, they were separating, and not that they were married. They weren't married, just boyfriend and girlfriend, but they were separating from each other. She was filing sole physical custody and putting a restraining order on him and yada, yada, yada. We know the story, right? But come to find out here recently, earlier, you know, towards the middle of this week, Darius Jackson went into court with some very damning text messages that makes it look like it's, I'm gonna say, even on both sides, that as aggressive as she was making him out to be, she was just as aggressive. So the text messages came out pretty much saying that she was a lot of the times the aggressor, putting hands on him, trying not to let him leave, acting out of depression, acting out of fear, and just saying that she was desperate for him to leave her. So my question is that with everything that happened, does the court of public opinion owe Darius an apology?
So to some regards, yes, the court of public opinion does owe Darius an apology for how he was treated during the time of initially the initial point was when he was acting how he was acting with the Usher situation. Then the second portion, even though there is video evidence that we assume is him and KeKe in her home and he is assaulting her. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but whatever.
Yeah, that's all good. That's good.
Yeah. And so there's evidence of that. But, you know, they did go all the way in on him, and then going so far as to look up his history of his brother's actions and his father's actions against his mother and saying, well, this is where it stems from, whatnot. So yeah, all of that, for all of those altercations and situations, he may be owed an apology. But I still stand firm in what I said when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is if you know how a person is, especially when you're in a relationship with a woman, then just remove yourself from the situation as best you can. The problem where most men get themselves into trouble is they try to stick it out in a relationship, or stick out a situation that they know is toxic for them, which is rare, but some men do it. There are men that do it. You typically hear it more so coming from the women's side of sticking it out in a toxic relationship. But I think in this situation, and I could be wrong, I think Darius models and whatnot, but KeKe has the upper hand when it comes to status and whatnot in this relationship. So not saying that the roles are reversed as far as the masculine, feminine traits and all of that, but it may be in Darius's best interest to try to stick it around, especially because they have a kid together. He wants to be in that child's life and whatnot. So yeah, the court owes him. The court of public opinion owes him apology, but I think he should have went through better steps of one, as he has finally done with these court documents, of keeping a paper trail of everything that's happened in the relationship between him and KeKe. So when the situations pop up, I got this evidence. But two, also, just taking a step back from it, allowing her and the situation that they were going through with the abuse to cool off, and then come back and try to talk about it as adults. I know that's easier said than done, but in theory, that's probably what he should have done.
Nah, for sure. Because I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that at no point was Darius, at no point was he aggressive, because you clearly see that she does have evidence of some aggressive behavior, right? But most of the time, from the outside looking in, as the public, and again, most of the time we should just honestly mind our motherfucking business, to be perfectly honest. It ain't none of our business.
But when you put it in public,
whenever you put it in the public, people are going to talk about it, right? So whenever you see things like that, we automatically assume, most of the time we automatically assume that the man is the aggressor, just biologically alone. People are always going to have that argument that no man should hit a woman because we're just biologically stronger and what we can possibly do and hurt a woman, whatever. So I have never put my hands on a woman a day in my life, and I never plan on doing it. I will never do it. Right. But most of the time when we see situations like this, we don't know. We see the pictures. Yes, it seems like Darius was aggressive, but we don't know if she started it. We don't know if he started it. We don't know what the origin of this argument was. We don't know anything about it. All we're doing is looking at this picture and saying that this man is guilty until proven innocent because he's a man.
Right.
And we don't understand where the origin of this argument came from, because a lot of what KeKe was saying in these text messages was, I was acting out of fear and desperation because I didn't want you to leave me. So she was talking about some situation in the alley where she hit him because he was trying to leave and get away from her. And she hit him because she was scared that he was going to leave. He posted a couple of different things where he wanted to leave her, and she would act out of rage and try to get him to stay. And I'm like, yo, like, if it's showing from what she's saying and from what the evidence that he's posting is that he's tried multiple times to leave KeKe. Right. And she wouldn't let him leave. And so it always acted out of rage and fear.
And so to me, that says that, like you mentioned, he tried to leave, but she manipulated him to come back. But I've said this again in the second part that we talked about KeKe, where we found out that they were separating, is those type of women are dangerous because they can manipulate you in all facets of life to do things that you typically wouldn't do had it not been because they know what buttons to push to get you going. And that could be, in the bedroom, that could be in these type of disputes, that could be in anything in life. When they know how to push your buttons, they pretty much control you. And it's what it seems like now.
Yeah.
With all of this information coming out. Again, we don't know the full story. We just know what's being released from court documents. We just know what's being said in the media. We don't know their full relationship. And that's the thing that kind of, I know it's our job now. That's what we do with Too Complex. We keep up with this type of stuff. That's the kind of things that gets the media in trouble and ultimately leads the public astray. Is we don't know their full story, but we're we're putting our narrative on it, trying to understand what's going on, when probably should just wait until it all comes out, if it comes out at all.
True. And just to kind of echo what you were saying earlier, whether it's man or woman, if you just like D-Lo said, you have to understand who you're dealing with. And if Darius could see this from the beginning, even before the baby was born, and congratulations to them, of course, but even before the baby was born, if you could see who you dealing with, and you are constantly fighting for the relationship all the time, and it seems like a toxic situation, then do what you can to get away from it. And D-Lo said that man, it's you try to get away from these types of situations as much as you can because you know it's not right for you, but there's always something that keeps you there. And women do it, men do it. You know, they deal with the mental, physical, spiritual abuse, and they just keep going back and they keep going back. And we all need to learn how to get away from these types of situations as much as we possibly can. And I can understand the trying to stick it out for the kids. I can understand it. But again, myself, and I think I said this before in the podcast, that I'm a great co-parent. If you're not treating me right, I don't have to deal with you. As long as I take care of my kid and we have an understanding that this is what the situation is, I can co-parent like a motherfucker. I'm going to take care of my child regardless. I don't have to take care of you because you obviously don't give a fuck about me. So we can part ways and I can do what I need to do for my child. But it's becoming too much of that to where it's mostly just taking care of the kids and having kids and not being together, and the actual family dynamic is no longer in our community anymore. And that's what we need to get back to. So I can commend people for trying to keep that intact, but if it's toxic, get away from it. Just period, man. The traditional household is gone, bro. It's gone. And we need to get, I want to get that back, bro. But you know, it starts with one village, I guess, right?
Yeah. So I think we're comfortable with just having babies, and you know, having to. It's seen as functional now, but you know, 15 to 20 years ago, probably not even that long ago, that was seen as dysfunctional. Now it's a functional family. And, you know, you just have what they call a blended family. I mean, I'm a part of that, but you know, it's too much the norm now. And with that, you have all of these situations of someone trying to control the other because they no longer have control of the situation. So they're trying to control the situation by any means necessary. And we thought in this situation with KeKe and Darius, we thought it was one way. It's turning out it might be equal or the other way. So
it's just different, bro. It's different.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Would you live in a city that Kanye envisioned in the Middle East?
Middle East meaning like not in the United States?
Yeah, like over there by Dubai and all of that, Iraq and those type of countries.
Would I live in a city that Kanye envisioned?
Yeah, that Kanye is trying to build. Okay, let's give you a little context.
Yeah, please give me some context.
Apparently, Kanye released a tweet earlier this week saying that he is trying to build a 100,000 square foot city, double the size of New York, called, I know I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, and I want to know if it's an acronym for something. It's called DROAM, I think, DROAM.
Okay.
It's going to be in the Middle East. Right now, the city is in phase 1, and he's looking. He's looking for partners, project managers, engineers, architects, contractors, and builders to help build this self-sustaining city. So, all that being said, would you live in a city that Kanye envisioned in the Middle East?
First part I'm gonna say is depends on how much it costs. First of all.
Okay.
Secondly, self-sustaining is totally different from what the United States is right now. The United States is not self-sustaining at all. We're in a crazy amount of debt.
I wouldn't say we're not self-sustaining, but because there's a lot of stuff that we produce now that we didn't 10 years
Makes sense. But yeah, so in the past decade, I guess we've become a little bit more self-sustaining. But prior to the 2010s, we were not. Because we
import a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Facts. So if it's self-sustaining, it would be somewhat of a better situation than what you're in here in the States. But the land of the free, you know, you have plenty of opportunity here. I don't know how much opportunity would be in DROAM. But
Am I saying that right? DROAM? Like
DROAM, yeah, Rome with a D.
Like you take
so
the
DROAM.
D, exactly.
Yeah, Rome with a D. Yeah, so DROAM.
We thinking the same thing. All right.
Yeah. Facts. So I can read a little bit, but I mean, would I stay there? It just really just depends on, number one, the cost. Number two, is there opportunity for a career, like some kind of, it says it's self-sustaining, but can I sustain life myself? The city can be self-sustaining, but if I can't afford to live there and sustain life myself, then I can't go there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it just depends on a lot of different factors. But would I live there? Possibly, but I can't say for sure now because I don't know what's going on.
With you knowing how Kanye is, I'll answer the question. So it would be tough if I were a single man. Perhaps that would be a move for me. Yeah. But I'm married with kids. It's not as easy for me to just pick up and go as it once was. Mm-hmm. So I think it's in theory, just listening to it and without actually seeing the blueprint, but knowing how big of a dreamer Kanye is, I think it would be a dope city. But I also know that Dubai and the other country, I think it's just the Dubai, they're trying to build I think I sent it to you.
You did. An enclosed city, something like that?
Yeah, an enclosed city that's some kilometers long and 50-foot tall glass wall and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all that sounds cool. And I know that we're trying to move to the future with all this new technology that we have available to us. So it would sound cool. And I would like to think I'm a dreamer as well, but I have to see it. Like the only thing I believe in without seeing is God, and everything else I have to see it for myself.
Got to break it down, bro. Got to break it down.
Yeah. So I think it's dope, but with Kanye, we know that he always says he's envisioning stuff, and a lot of his visions have come to fruition, but a lot of his visions have not. And so I feel like this could be one of those, but if he could pull it off, it'd be dope. Tall task, but I think it'd be dope if he could pull it off.
According to Kanye, and the famous quote from Kanye, he told you who he was, a god. So if he go envision it, he gonna try to put it into place. So I'm curious to see how it forms, and I'm curious to see what happens with it. But I can't say for sure right now that I would uproot myself and move to DROAM because of a vision that Kanye had. So
I want to know what that acronym is for. So somebody need to ask him, what does that mean? Because I looked for it and I did not see it. Nah. And I'm thinking Donda is in there somewhere. His middle name is Omari, so that could be the O. And I was like, okay, his kid's name, no other words fit in there. And then Kanye is a K. So I don't know. It's no West W. So I don't know what the DROAM would be.
In 2020, this is the first thing I saw. In 2020, Kanye attempted to build his own city in Wyoming, but the state made him close up shop.
Oh, yeah. I guess so. He's been trying to do it. So
Yeezy DROAM Phase 1.
Yeah.
It does, but it doesn't
That's what I saw.
It doesn't say
exactly
what it means, but yeah.
Phase 1, he's looking for architects, engineers, contractors, partners to help build the city,
project managers,
or plan the city, and then
I'm curious. I'm but on to the next,
because it's all caps too.
It is in all caps, yeah. But I don't,
and that's what I'm like. What does that mean? It has to stand for something.
Knowing Kanye, it has to stand for something.
Yeah.
So yeah, but another one of my little quick topics was,
you don't have to say that, right?
Did you say
topic?
Well, let's cut that part out. 3, 2, 1. So
we're not cutting it out. No, ain't no cutting it out.
We're gonna keep it live up in here in Too Complex.
Yeah.
Anyway, so did you see what Smush Parker said about Kobe earlier this week?
Oh, he didn't talk to him and all that stuff.
So Smush Parker basically said that the man never spoke to me. I started with this man. I was his coworker. It was like we shared a cubicle side by side. How do you do that for 2 seasons and never hold a conversation? And he put a quote in there from Kobe that says, "You can't talk to me." You need more accolades under your belt before you come talk to me. So it sounds so Kobe Bryant, but do you see Kobe saying this to Smush?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
100% see. I 100% see Kobe saying something like that. Now, over maybe it was isolated, and then at a different point in their tenure together, Kobe did talk to him. But and if he didn't talk to him in the span of 2 years, that's absolutely ridiculous.
That's
and
insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I could see Kobe like being an asshole to Smush for a small period of time. But that Smush Parker, those Smush Parker teams, they were not good. And so I can see Kobe. Yeah. I can see Kobe being upset. Well, no, didn't he? Wasn't Smush Parker on the team where they won the NBA championship with Paul Gasol and Ron Artest or Meta World Peace? Wasn't he on that team?
I'm about to look it up, but they did. He played with them in 05, 06, and 06, 07. So let me see. I'm gonna tell you right now, player.
I know they were bad one year with Smush Parker on the team, like absolutely terrible.
They were absolutely terrible. They won. No, they didn't win in 06, 07, or 07. Wait. It was
okay.
So they won in they won in 04, 08, which was that? They won in 04, 08, and 09. But he played with him in 05, 06, and 06, 07. So that was after 04, 05, and then right before 08, 09. Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, I can see it, man, but I can't stand stuff like that. Like I like Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
There was an arrogance to him, but I respected his game like no other.
Yeah.
But I can't stand stuff like that. Like, okay, yeah, we're not good. I might not be good as a player, but don't
to his standard. But he's in the NBA though. He's a good player. He's just not up to the Kobe standard, I guess. Or he's not up there with Kobe. Yeah.
Like, okay. Like I know what everybody's gonna say. Kobe was just trying to make him bring out the best of him, make him practice harder and put more extra work and time. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But tell me that. Don't not talk to me. Don't give me that type of treatment. I am a man just like you. Just like, bro, listen, I can respect you more if I saw you put more work in the gym and do this, do that to better yourself. That would help our team become better, and which would help me as well. But you not talking to me. I can't stand stuff like that. I went through that with I was in a situation like that where the person that was above me would walk right past us, like people that were in my position, maybe a little bit, that would just walk right past me and not say anything. That drove me crazy, bro. Like, I work for you, dog. I'm here every day, just like you. You can at least stop and say hey to me or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, man. That drive me crazy though. That would drive me crazy.
And I can dig it because, but it's that old adage that people will tell you. Like I had a coach in college that was like, you've heard it before. If I'm talking to you, then I can see something in you. But if I'm not talking to you, you should be scared. Type shit. Like you might.
Kobe ain't the coach though.
But Kobe, I was just about to say that Kobe is not the coach.
Kobe ain't the coach.
But Kobe, but to Kobe,
and you don't have to like it. You don't have to. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you don't have to like somebody to be cordial and have a professional relationship with them.
Facts. But to Kobe's, to his defense, he was Kobe Bryant. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he was a mamba.
But everybody is going to look at Kobe as he was taking the Jordan approach, and you know how Jordan did with the Bulls, and how he was beating up his players, and how he punched Steve Kerr in the face, and he was just trying to be that same dog that Jordan was, and he was a splitting image of Jordan. Man, fuck all that. Because if I'm Smush, I'm going to Kobe like, bruh, we work together, my nigga. We got to be on the court together. We're going to have some kind of relationship. Like, I don't care if you Kobe or Jordan or LeBron or nobody. But see, I was that type of person though. Like, that's just my personality. Like, I'm not just going to sit there and you ignore the fuck out of me and we're in the same profession and we're on the court together, and I'm starting with you and we have to have this teamwork. Nigga, we going to have some kind of camaraderie. I don't give a fuck what accolades I got and what you do have. Nigga, you going to respect me. So I'm going to tell you, like, nigga, what's good with you? Like, case in point, and I'm not gonna call no names out, but I'm gonna say this one thing. When I was at Central, I had an amazing freshman year. Freshman of the year, had 8 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? I was new to the receiver position because I never played receiver in my life.
You was a man.
I was all right. But I had a really good freshman year at Central. Freshman? At Central, but it was all fade routes, bro. I think I had my 11 catches. So all fade routes, but still.
Even better. You was a red zone threat.
I was a red zone threat. So I had a really good freshman year in college. We changed offensive coordinators to a new guy that came from Jackson State. Funny, because we talk about Prime all the time. He came from Jackson State, and he brought like 7 receivers with him, right? Mm-hmm. A couple of guys from Jackson, a couple of guys from UNC, brought a kid from Florida. He brought a lot of receivers with him to NCCU. My sophomore year, I had no playing time. I played in one game and had 2 snaps, and that one game was against Fayetteville State. And the only reason why he put me in the game was because I was at home at Fayetteville State. So he never talked to me. Never said one word to me. The only thing he said to me was, "You ain't no renegade, Sticks. You ain't got that dog in you." Yeah. But I was probably the best receiver on the team. And the only reason why he said that is because I didn't cause a ruckus. I wasn't very disrespectful to referees, other players, other coaches. I just went out there and let my game show for itself that I was probably most likely better than you. So sophomore year, no PT. Junior year comes around and I'm killing in spring practice, killing in summer camp, but I'm still like 4th on the depth chart whenever you look at who's going to play, 4th or 5th, like I was getting no PT. So coach didn't say 2 words to me during the season of my sophomore year, through spring camp, through summer camp, didn't say nothing to me. So after summer camp, we would have evaluations to see where you stood, how good you got, what they thought about your game, and how you progressed throughout spring and summer camp. And the only thing, whenever I went into my evaluation, the only thing I told that coach was, "I'm going to make you fucking play me." And I walked out. Didn't say nothing else to him. Didn't care about the evaluation. Didn't want to hear what he thought about me. Didn't give a fuck. "I'm going to make you fucking play me." And I walked out. He didn't play me the first 4 games of the junior season. The quarterback of the team gets hurt. We had 3 other QBs on that team. Who did he ask to play QB for him? Me. We ran off 7 straight games, get to the NCAA championship, win the CIAA. We get to the playoffs, and I'm splitting time with the starting QB. I scored 3 touchdowns in the playoff game, 3 different ways. I caught one, I ran one, and I threw one. In the first half, we up 21-0. D-Lo, when I tell you I didn't play the rest of that game in that second half in the playoffs, and we lost 24-21, they fired his ass and brought in another dude, and he was like, "You're not going to get me fired." So I say all that to say, you have to demand respect sometimes. Sometimes people always say respect is given, and respect is not given, it's earned. But sometimes the way you earn that respect, Smush Parker should have went to Kobe and be like, "Nigga, you gonna respect me. We gonna have some kind of relationship, and I'm gonna force you to fucking see that I'm a good asset to this motherfucking team." So if I was Smush, I would have been like, "I'm gonna make you fucking respect me," in his motherfucking face, and I would have forced it. To be perfectly honest with you, I would have forced it.
That was a great story that you told, by the way.
Appreciate it, brother.
But I think a lot of people just chalk that up as that's Kobe, because Smush isn't the only one that has said stuff like this about Kobe.
Truth.
So, and it's crazy that when we tell our stories about situations similar to this, it's not with another teammate. It's with a coach or something of the sort. And it kind of puts Kobe, it's kind of like we're putting Kobe a level above his peers. And he rightfully so.
Yeah.
But he was still a player. And so, like you mentioned, sometimes you have to take that respect from, because we hear stories like this that Smush has said about Kobe, but we also hear the flip side of how much sacrifice and hard work Kobe put in outside of the standard work hours that basketball players had. Kobe would always be the first in the gym, or I believe Vanessa or somebody in the family would has set his schedule before. Like he would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, work out, practice, come back home for an hour or two just so he can pick up the kids or be around the kids, head back to the gym from 4 to 7, work out, take a break, and then 9 to 10 he's working out again. So I mean, we've heard these type of stories on both sides about the work ethic that Kobe has, but also how much of a RIP, but how much of an asshole Kobe was too. And it was just to bring out the best in you. But I know certain personalities work better with other personalities. That personality wouldn't work well with me. I don't care how good you are. Like I'd be like, no, bro, listen. Like you said, I would have demanded some respect. It might have took me a while to get it, but I would have demanded some respect. Like you gonna talk to me, bro. Especially because he also said he was a cubicle mate. Like he had a locker right next to Kobe. Like
facts.
I sit next to you every day. You're not gonna talk to me,
day, and you're not gonna gonna say nothing to me. Like, all right, bro. Yeah. But Smush started off in Cleveland too, because Smush was on that team that was trying to say that they didn't need LeBron James, so he was on that team too. But then he ended up after that. You see how that worked out. He was up out of there and was in with the Lakers and getting disrespected by Kobe. Like, come on, bro. Like, but that situation with Kobe is crazy.
Yeah. So we talked about college football 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago we talked about
2 weeks ago?
State
2 weeks ago.
Okay. So we talked about that and how all of this conference realignment, the NIL is kind of messing with college football. Chip Kelly feels like he has a fix for college football. So in a press conference last week, Chip Kelly gave his suggestion on how he would fix college football. He says that he is suggesting that football separates itself from the other sports and become independent, where they have their own conference commissioners and split the divisions into the group of Power Five, where there's 64 teams in the Power Five and a group of 64 teams that's in the what's it called? Power Five or Group of Five. So the Group of Five today would be Conference USA, those type of conferences. And from there, they all play regional games where it would be they play 7 games with teams that are in their region, and then those teams in that region would play 4 games a year against teams in other regions, and then 1 game either up or down. So if you're in the Power Five, you would play a game with one game with a Group of 5 team. If you're a Group of 5, you play 1 game with a Power 5 team, and then that way, all of the teams can go to these TV media companies and demand a big share of a big contract, and they can all evenly split out the contracts, and then you don't have these teams jumping from one conference to another because everybody's making the same thing. Sounds very familiar. Like somebody said that on this podcast before.
I think his name was D-Lo. I think D-Lo might have said that.
I did say that.
You did. Indeed you did.
I said something similar. Yeah. I mean, the only difference in what I said and what Chip Kelly says, and this is the genius of this and why I think it's a great idea, is he says with those big contracts that the TV companies will offer, now you can remove the NIL and pay the players outright from the colleges. You don't have to worry about anything. And another thing he says, it makes no sense for basketball, volleyball, and baseball to have to travel across the country when they have so many games in a week to play teams that are on the East Coast when you're a West Coast team. Whereas football, you play 1 game a week, and you can probably do that, more sustainably than a basketball team can. So what do you think about this fix? Do you think it's a viable fix, or you think it's a pie in the sky idea?
I think it's a viable fix, but I also believe it's a nice dream because it's going to take a lot for yourself or even Chip Kelly to go to the committee and say, this is what needs to happen. And for the actual NCAA to say, yeah, we'll take that into account. Let's try it, but also, not only will it be that hard, it would be hard for you to actually convince them that this is a good idea because, of course, it's big business. Sports is big business. So not only will it be hard for them for anybody to convince them that this is a good idea, it would also take probably, I don't even know if it would take a while to actually implement, to be honest. It wouldn't be bad. It's not a bad idea. I don't think it would be hard to implement, but it would take some planning. It would take a year or two of planning possibly for them to actually put it together. So while they're putting it together, you're still going to have to do the CFP and all of that. So it's just going to be it would just take a lot for the NCAA to say, yeah, let's do it. But it's a great idea though. It's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the real issue is allowing all of the contracts that are currently in place with these different conferences to run out. The ACC, who Florida State just mentioned that they are suing the ACC so they can get out of the ACC
contracts. Where are they trying to go?
Grant of rights. So they were in talks earlier in the season to join the Big Ten if they could get out of their grant of rights contract with the ACC, but it's so much to get out of it. I think in order to get out of the grant of rights with the ACC, you have to pay, I think it said 3 times its I don't want to misspeak, but I know the base price is 120, 130 million.
Sheesh.
And then you also have to pay a percentage of your media rights with the other conference that you go to for a certain amount of time, which at the end of everything it would round up to about $572 million that you would end up owing the ACC.
God,
so it's very hard to get out, and that's why, because Clemson has also said that they want to get out, and not to get away from what we're talking about. But Clemson said they want to get out. NC State and USC had mentioned that they wanted to get out. It's just because at the time that they signed the deal with ESPN to have the ACC network, they were making about 27 to 33 million, somewhere in that range per team with their contract. Well, the Big Ten is at that time, which was 2016, signed a contract where each team was getting about 40 million. The SEC was about to re-up, and everybody suspected that they would get about 50 million. I believe they did get it. And so now the gap is widening between these conferences with the revenue share. And so teams are mad because they obviously want that revenue share, but you know, you always going to be chasing money. And so that's why I feel like this is a great idea that Chip Kelly was saying. If you just break those conference contracts with these TV companies, everybody go to them together, we all split the pot evenly, then we have no worries about conference realignment. It's just getting ridiculous with USC and UCLA being in the Big Ten, where they have to travel to Ohio State, Rutgers to play football
which
games
is in fucking Maryland.
Games.
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
Rutgers
is in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, yeah. But I played Rutgers in college, and we like to beat them, honestly. But either way, it's just it doesn't make any sense, and it definitely would be better for everybody if everybody just came together. Like honestly, it would be better if everybody just came together. But with all the money that's in these broadcasts and all the money that's going to each individual conference and just all of these because if it's going to cost just Florida State $570 million to get to leave the ACC, like, but if everybody
not one fell swoop, but
still, but if it's more so like I don't know, I don't want to call it a hostile takeover, but if everybody leaves at one time and says, okay, all 64 of these teams is going to come here, and then all the Power Five is going to come in this one collective group, and then all the Group of Five will come in this one collective group. If they do it all at the same time, I just kind of had a light bulb. Couldn't they do that now with all the moving around? Couldn't they just say, I'm just going to leave and go independent, and then all of them just group together? Couldn't they all just do that now?
They could, but they would have to pay. They would have to pay to leave their respective media rights contracts.
Yeah. Same thing that Florida State's going through. Yeah.
But it just depends, because I think the reason the Pac-12 was able to, those teams in the Pac-12 were able to leave so well is because they were about to negotiate, or they were in the process of negotiating new contracts for their TV rights. And the members weren't happy with where that was going. And so they just like, we're going to go to the Big 10, the Big 12, and take that money. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think, like I said, obviously I think it's a great idea, because I had a similar idea months ago. I can't remember exactly when we had this discussion on this podcast, but it's going to take a lot in order to get it to come together. But you're right. If everybody if these teams or these universities or the ADs, I don't know how it would go, but if they come together and say, all right, on this date, we're all going to do XYZ, and then we're going to go to ESPN, Fox, and NBC together, try to get the type of money that we think is worthy of universities of our caliber. I think that would be a new beginning of college sports and amateurism as we know it.
For sure. I agree.
Sticking with college sports, though, so you also mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember when we talked about.
It was 2 weeks ago.
The
when
NIL
we talked about the NIL and all that. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So it looks like Nebraska and Matt Rhule found some money to get a quarterback.
Really?
Yes, because it's not a transfer portal quarterback, but they were able to flip the number 2 overall recruit from the University of Georgia to come to Nebraska. Now, there is a reason why they were able to flip him. The quarterback that's currently at Georgia and that did pretty well this year has decided to come back for his senior season, or come back next season rather than entering the draft. And so the player, this number 2 overall recruit quarterback, wanted to play immediately, and his best opportunity, he felt like, was at Nebraska. My question, though, to you, Sticks, is with all of this money that's now being spent on players, or that's perceived to be spent on players to get teams to be immediate contenders for championships and whatnot, does that make the leash even shorter for these coaching staffs of respective colleges?
Yes, but I also think it makes the leash even shorter for these players that they're paying for, because we're going out of our way to give you this X amount of money, and this is the money that you asked for. This is the reason why you're coming here, because you didn't want to go to Georgia because you wasn't going to play right away. So you came to us because we was going to give you that opportunity, and we're going to give you $2, $3, $4 million a year. And now you're going to be here.
That has
right. I'm just speculating.
That hasn't been.
Yeah. I'm just speculating because that's what he said. He said good QBs cost $1 to $2 million. The elite costs $3 to $4 to $5 million. That's what he said 2 weeks ago.
Matt Rhule.
Yeah, that's what Matt Rhule said. So since these universities and these coaching staffs are paying these players, they are on a short leash. But I think the players' leash is even shorter, because we give you this bread. You want to come here and play immediately, we're going to give you this bread. We're going to give you this money in NIL. This is what you requested. If you don't play well, then we're going to get the next person $2, $3, $4 million, and you're going to be benched, and we're going to take that money from you, and your NIL going to be. So it is so much of a give and take with NIL, and it's so much. NIL is so complex, man. It's kind of crazy, but it's so much give and take with it that, yes, the coaches are putting their neck on the line by giving all this money, but the player is also betting on himself. And if he doesn't perform, then we got a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I think it's short leash on both ends.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't think about that, and I probably should have, but I didn't even think about the player aspect of it, because I don't think a lot of people even know that the scholarship for players is renewed every year. It's not, you're not guaranteed 4 years at a given university. Like I can go, well, just use me for example at Wake. I didn't play very well, didn't play that much. So they could have said, you know what, DeLon, just not working out how we thought it was. We're not going to renew your scholarship. And there's nothing I could do. Apparently it's done quite often at a school in the SEC. I'm not going to name any names. And it's just like, that's just how they handle business. And that's what they do. And that's why they win the way that they do. So, I mean, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I agree that the coaches, and I think the coaches will be on short leashes now, because we all know boosters pay for a lot of things that go on in universities with sports and facilities and whatnot. And so they feel like, not only are we paying for your facilities, now we're paying for your players, and you can't win, you got to go. It makes it harder for the coach too, because not only does he have to recruit players, he also has to recruit boosters or some corporations, whatnot, to say, hey, we want this player. Can you give us some money so that we can get him to come to our university. So, I mean, it makes it hard. I don't know if coaches are wanting to deal with that type of headache now. You see a lot of them talking about the NIL and not necessarily that they don't want to pay players, but, going through the hoops to get certain people or certain corporations or whatever the case may be to fund the money to pay for players to come to their school in the legal way of the NIL now.
It's crazy, man, because we always talk about we wish we would have played in the era of the NIL so we could take advantage of it. But the more I think about NIL and the so many hoops that coaches and players have to go through to even be able to be properly compensated or properly pay somebody for their name, image, and likeness, it's just like, do I really want to go through all that headache? But I mean, I'm on the side of, I completely agree with them getting paid for their name, image, and likeness. I love it for the players, but it's like, it's so much give and take. Like the coach ain't gonna really want to give you, because a lot of coaches, they don't mind paying the players because they think they deserve it, but they don't really want to because they're spread so thin with the amount of money that they have. So it's like, are they really gonna put? Go ahead.
Well, I just found out this week that coaches can't say anything to players about money in NIL. They have outside parties that deal with that type of stuff and work with players and getting those type of deals. But still, the thing is, like, that adds another distraction to the players because they're all trying to get some money. They might not be looking for top tier dollars, but they're all trying to get some type of money for NIL. And so the coaches are concerned with, well, if I can't talk to them about money and they have to go off campus or they have to do whatever with this outside party to try to find NILs, then that's going to take away from the time that I can spend with them to get them to understand where to line up, what route to run, or how to cover, what grass they need to cover in different coverages, what gap to shoot. You know what I'm saying? So it is a lot, man, with NIL because and then they also have to go to school. So it's just a lot for the athlete, for the coaches when it comes to NIL.
It's a lot, man. But I mean, more power to them, bro. Get as much, get paid what you're worth at the very, very least. But have some respect for the game itself. You know what I'm saying? Because we talked about this 2 weeks ago. A lot of times it just feels like a lot of players are just going for what they can gain and not for the love of the game itself. Because the way we had to play because we loved the game. We weren't getting compensated for what the fuck. We was getting a scholarship, room and board, meals. This is what we was getting. But
you realize when you got there that you don't love the game as much as you did, and you just riding out to get a degree.
To get a degree. Are you speaking from experience, my brother?
No. Well, a little bit, but not. I wouldn't say I was riding out. I definitely wanted to play. Like that ate me up. But when I realized that it was probably not going to happen like that, as what I wanted to, then I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting me a degree from Wake Forest.
Exactly. But but I mean, it's a complex situation with the NIL, but hopefully everything still works out the way it's supposed to. And I'm glad Matt Rhule was able to not have to go to the portal and actually flip a guy, pause, to be able to come to his university. So I think it's gonna work out for them. Hopefully it does.
Yep.
So go ahead.
No, on you.
Now I was just about to go into the we were talking about what Cam Newton came up with some on his Freaky Friday. Oh no, on his fourth
not Freaky Friday.
Not Freaky Friday. It was on Cam 4th and 1.
4th and 1.
Yeah, on that segment
4th and 1
with
Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm. He made some bold statements about the MVP race in the NFL. And for those that don't know, quarterbacks like Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, those guys are leading the way when it comes to your MVP race. You still have guys on there like Tyreek Hill and your Christian McCaffreys and stuff like that too, who are not QBs. But of course, if you look at the history of the NFL, the quarterback position has usually dominated the MVP race for decades. So he made a statement that caused a conversation around what is a game manager and what is a game changer. And he said that Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff are game managers, meaning that they don't have to go out there and win a game for you. They don't have to go out there and win a game. They're not changing the game. They're not impacting the game as much as people think that they are. But somebody like your Christian McCaffreys and your Tyreek Hills are game changers, to where the way they play and what they have to do is it changes the game of football, and you have to game plan for those guys alone. So he drew a little bit of people. Some people agree with him, but he did draw a little bit of backlash from a couple of different sports media outlets and things of that nature to like say, well, who are you, Cam Newton? So D-Lo, is Cam Newton at liberty to speak about something like this? And is he right about what he said as far as game managers and game changers?
First off, are we really asking, is Cam Newton at liberty to ask to speak about this? He is the
you would be surprised
2015 MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He took the Carolina Panthers, not just himself, but they went to the Super Bowl
15-1 that year.
Super Bowl 15-1, lost to the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 50, 2016. But he's definitely at liberty to speak about this. I think this is a classic example of you don't like the messenger, so you don't hear the message. And I believe people loved Cam when he played on the field, but some of his antics when he scored, or some of his antics off the field, such as when they lost in the 2016 Super Bowl 50, how he acted in the after game interviews, I think it rubbed people the wrong way. So now, and then like now the way he dresses and stuff that he says, he's ultra confident, maybe on borderline arrogant,
little eccentric. Yeah, he's a little eccentric.
Right. But that's Cam Newton.
That's who
he was on the field. That's who he has been throughout his time that we've known him to be who he is. And so I think people tuned it out because where it came from and not really digested what he said. I think I am in agreement with what he said, because before this year, you didn't think about Brock Purdy as a game changer. He plays in the San Francisco 49ers offense ran by Kyle Shanahan, one of the most prolific offenses there is right now. Same thing with Tua Tagovailoa. Is it Tagovailoa or Tagovailoa? Tagovailoa. Same with him. He plays with I'm forget his name. And I just watched Hard Knocks last night. Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels is the head coach who runs a similar offense as the San Francisco 49ers. Little small nuances here and there, but they run a similar offense. He actually coached under Kyle Shanahan and is from that same coaching tree. Before this year, nobody was saying Dak Prescott was a game changer. You're a Cowboys fan. Nobody was calling him a game changer.
Nobody was.
He gets the job done. He managed the ball very well at times, even though last year he led the league in interceptions and only missed 4 games that last year and still led the league in interceptions.
Yep.
And then Jared Goff, while he did play well the year that they went to the Super Bowl but lost to the Patriots, nobody has called him a game changer until maybe this year or the last 2 years, because he's been playing well with Detroit. But Detroit also has a similar offense that Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniels has. So I don't know, man. I think a lot of people just got their panties in a bundle or in a bunch, or he ruffled some feathers because it was coming from Cam Newton. And I think a lot of the media have an issue. This is the issue that the media has now, is all of these former players have a platform. Have a platform to speak on situations that they might not have had in the past. And it takes away the light of these analysts on ESPN, Fox Sports and whatnot. And so it's like, maybe we should just demean what he said a little bit. What do you think though?
I'm with you. I think Cam Newton has all right to speak, especially on the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Because that's the position he played, that he excelled at. Rookie of the year, 4,000 passing yards as a rookie. Had at one point had the most rushing yards in a season for. I think he still owns that record, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to look it up. But most rushing yards as a quarterback in the NFL for one season. Like you said, MVP, took his team to Super Bowl 50. Like, just because he is, and I'm gonna go on record and saying this, I think Cam Newton is being blackballed from the NFL because I believe he can still play. You know what I'm saying? I think he had his chance with what you made that face for?
You think that?
I think he's being blackballed.
I honestly don't think that.
You don't think he's being blackballed? You think he's done? You think his career is over?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Okay, I think he can still go. I still have an idea, but I mean, again, Cam is Cam. So Cam is ultra confident.
Lamar Jackson rushing record 2019.
Oh, so he rushed for more. Okay,
1,206 yards in the season.
Okay, what was Cam's before that? Do you remember? What does it say?
I'm looking at it now. I don't. Justin Fields also in last year 1,100 yards.
He did go crazy that shit. That's right.
I actually don't. Nah, Cam Newton is like well down the list. It looks like 2017 he had 754 yards. 2011 he had 706. 2012 he had 741. But he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Damn. Okay,
12,
so I was wrong.
13,
So I was
14. Yeah.
So, but I want to say I heard
his career. Maybe let's see.
I thought I heard Ryan Clark say that he held the record at one point, but maybe I was wrong. Michael Vick probably was before that anyway. But either way,
yeah,
when it comes to the quarterback position, he has all right to talk with just the accolades that he's had coming from Auburn, going to the league, setting rookie records. You know, playing in the offense with also a rookie head coach in Ron Rivera at the time. Whenever they got to Carolina, like, he's done more than what people want to give him credit for, just because of his antics and how he carried himself. But that's just Cam Newton. It was an exciting player, and he took pride in playing football. He had fun playing football. So that's just who Cam is. But the one thing that rubbed me the wrong way was there is a analyst for ESPN, a young lady named Kimberly Martin, who has never played the sport of football, who does get paid to speak on the sport of football. And it's a lot of analysts that do this. It's even male analysts that do this too. So I'm not just singling out women. But at the same time, it's like she went on ESPN, she went on Get Up, and she took a few shots at Cam Newton, talking about his outfit that he had on in the take that he did. He had on a ugly Christmas sweater and some overalls. It's just, Cam is Cam. But she had the nerve to say, in the year of 2023, where it's all about the NFL backups, where's Cam? Not on the NFL roster, right? So first of all, I'm gonna break that down. Like, so you're denigrating what he says about the game of football and the position that he played at a very high level for more than a decade, just because he's not on the roster right now, just because of the last couple of years that he had when he was with the Patriots, when he was with the Panthers, he didn't perform well. But the Cam Newton's career far supersedes anything you can say about his last couple of years, period. Coming from somebody who has never played the game and just gets paid to talk, take this man's opinion into account, because he most likely knows what he's talking about, probably a little bit more than you, Miss Martin. But then she also said, he's talking about all of these NFL game managers. He sounds like people tweeting at me from their basement, like, just turn off the TV. He sounds foolish. It's just analysts like that, men and women alike, analysts like that who sit behind a microphone and get paid to talk, and they make outlandish statements about a man who was an MVP, a rookie of the year, a Super Bowl, he took his team to a Super Bowl, and acting like he has no room to talk about the state of the quarterback today is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. So if I could say anything to Miss Martin, I would say shut the fuck up, because I played the quarterback position. I made it, didn't stick around, but I made it to the NFL. I probably could talk about the quarterback position and the state of the quarterback today more than you motherfucking can, because you've never played. Just because you get paid to sit behind a mic and make and analyze some shit don't mean that you can say that Cam Newton ain't got no opinion. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Anyway, what you think, D-Lo?
Yeah. I mean, but the funny thing about that is what you just brought up is she made that statement about where, in the year of the quarterback, I think you said, where is Cam Newton? On that same desk sits Dominique Foxworth, who played in the NFL, but he can speak on it. Also, Dan Orlovsky played in the NFL.
He was a quarterback.
He can speak on it, but Cam Newton can't. I mean, come on, man. Like we pick and choose. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying what I said earlier is you don't like the messenger, so you don't hear the message.
You don't hear the message.
And so because I guarantee had Dan Orlovsky said exactly what Cam Newton said, it would have been taken.
It'd have been taken completely different. Yep.
Yeah, and she wouldn't have said, "Now, Dan, you sound like one of those guys tweeting at me." What'd she say? You sound like
one of those guys tweeting at me from their basement.
Yeah, like she wouldn't have said that.
She wouldn't have said it to Dan. Like she wouldn't have said it to Dominique either.
Right. Obviously, there is some truth to what Cam has said, and then because of the fact that those that he mentioned are in the MVP race, and we don't want to think that our MVP players are just game managers, that they are in fact game changers, is the reason why it got the amount of backlash and the sigh of not sigh of relief, but the
sigh of despair.
Got that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for helping me out there, brother. Got that from Cam, because it's like, well, if these guys are just game managers, how can they be quarterbacks? I mean, how can they be MVPs in the league? Well, he came on his podcast the day later and said, what I said was not to despair or to
disparage.
Any of these players. There have been some great game managers in our game. He said Peyton Manning was a game manager. Tom Brady was a game manager. Drew Brees was a game manager. He said there's only been like a few game changers at the quarterback position. And he said currently it's Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Allen. That's in
shit. I would put Justin Fields in there.
He just mentioned. He said Joe Burrow too.
Joe Burrow,
So he just mentioned those individuals. But he said other than that, everybody else is pretty much a game manager, and there's nothing wrong with that. You could be a high.
Cam Newton in his time was a game changer. Basically. He was a game changer to me. I think he was a game changer.
He was a game changer in 2015, maybe his rookie year. I think every other season. No, he was a game changer.
He was a game changer
because the offense was ran around him as far
100%.
as his whole skill set, his ability to run and his arm until he got injured.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's parts of his career where he was a game manager.
A game manager. Yeah. But for most of his career, he was a game changer for real.
Yeah, but absolutely agree that if anybody has the ability to speak on that situation, Cam Newton should be able to speak on that situation and not get the type of backlash that he got because he's Cam Newton.
I think it goes back to what you said at the beginning of the segment, though. It's a lot of these athletes have platforms now, and they're not lined up to work for ESPN or work for Fox Sports. They're not lining up to do that because they don't have to stick to a script. They can actually speak their mind and say what they want to say on their own platform. And and I think a lot of people who are on broadcast TV don't like that, to be perfectly honest. And people like Draymond Green and Paul George and Cam Newton and these guys have their own platforms to speak their mind and say what they want to say, and they're not hindered by the broadcast by the company. So we're hurt, but she has no space to say that. No broadcaster, male or female, has space to say that Cam Newton can't talk about the quarterback position.
Right?
I'm like, are you serious? But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So. Another person, former player, ruffled some feathers when it came to football this week or last week.
Oh,
Rashard Mendenhall.
Yeah.
Rashard Mendenhall said that he thinks the Pro Bowl should be white versus black.
This dude is crazy, bro.
So crazy. In a tweet released last week, former running back Rashard Mendenhall, like I said, caused a stir. He says, "I'm sick of average white guys." Funny, we just talked about this. Average white guys commenting on football. Y'all not even good at football. Can we please replace the Pro Bowl with an all black versus all white bowl so these broadcasters can stop trying to teach me who's good at football? I'm better than your GOAT. What's your thoughts on this First off, what are your thoughts on his statement? And then also, what are your thoughts on this hypothetical game that he suggested? Who do you think wins?
You really gonna put me on blast like that?
I mean, I'm gonna answer it too.
So listen. So this is what I think, as far as if there was a hypothetical, well, what kind of bowl? I want a racial bowl. if that was the case, right?
Race bowl.
If that was the case, there would be a couple of positions that we would overpower them. But it would be a couple of positions right now that they would dominate as well. Number one of them being the running back position, because Christian McCaffrey is locking that down as of right now. Mm-hmm. The quarterback position is probably ours at this point. Is the black folk that we probably got that right now, because we could consider, I don't know what he considers
Patrick
himself,
Mahomes.
but I could say Patrick Mahomes. Justin
Patrick Mahomes
Fields
considers himself. Well, I actually don't know what he says publicly. But he always is like he always like acknowledges his dad's side of things.
Makes sense.
His dad is black.
So we got Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud, Justin Fields. The quarterback position is probably dominated by the black folk as of right now. Wide receiver, same thing. Rushers, same thing. Offensive linemen, it's probably them. but it just depends on what you look at. If I had to,
you're right. I would agree with that statement.
But defensive backs, come on, bro. It's
scrambling.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
they got us a kicker.
They got us at kicker. But see, I was watching. See, this is the thing though. I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and they were talking about this whole situation and going through the positions. Can you say that, the Asian persuasion is colored folk? Because if that's the case, then we got a couple of Asians in the league that might give the you know what I'm saying, but that might get somebody to run for their money. But I mean, it just really just depends, man.
On where they go.
But if I had to look at it right now, the way the league has been trending in the past 5-10 years, if there was a white versus black bowl to replace the Pro Bowl, the black folks probably winning that. Not gonna lie, the black folks dominate way too many positions on the field right now than to say that we will lose that. Linebacker will probably be them. I mean, you just got to tear it out. And as of right now, whenever you look at all 22 on the field, there's probably about 17 black dudes on the field at one time.
Right, 70%. Out of 22. The league is 72, 73% black.
Yeah.
Well, but what are your thoughts on his statement?
I think
his suggestion.
He just made. I mean, I can understand the feeling behind why he said it, but it's a team sport, bro. Like you're not going. If it wasn't for some of your Caucasian counterparts, the team wouldn't be as good. So I mean, I would say he just made it out of an emotional state. Like somebody might have said something to him that was like, bro, who are you talking to? Like,
or about him,
right? That he didn't like, and he went off the rails, and he made an emotional statement. I don't think, of course, it would never happen. The NFL would never do nothing like that. They would never segregate the game like that ever. I mean, I don't even agree with the flag football they're doing right now, but they would, if they took so long to go to flag football, they would never go to black versus white, period. That's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Rashard Mendenhall was a good player in his own right. I mean, he had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers, ended his career in Arizona where he didn't have as good of a season. But I mean, he said he's better than their GOAT. I mean, as of right now, the GOAT is Tom Brady, and I wouldn't say Rashard Mendenhall is greater than Tom Brady. Period. But I mean,
I think he's saying he's better than Christian McCaffrey. That's how I took that.
Oh, as far as that, the position, the specific position. Okay.
Because he said their GOAT. I'm better than your GOAT. And the reference that started out with, I'm sick of average white guys commenting on football. And we all know that Christian McCaffrey, like there's rumbles that Christian McCaffrey probably should be the MVP rather than Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and whoever else they putting in there. So, I mean,
if we're looking at stat,
he's not better than Christian McCaffrey, bro. I don't care what stats you're looking at.
Put this into perspective, though. Put it into perspective. Rashard Mendenhall's best season was in 2010. He had 324 attempts, almost 1,300 yards. He also had 13 touchdowns. He had 23 receptions, 467 yards. So he wasn't too much as a receiving back, but he could catch out of the backfield. Christian McCaffrey's best season as of right now was with this season is still going. So this season is probably his best season. But total season was with the Panthers, 287 attempts, 1,300 yards, almost 1,400 yards, and 15 touchdowns. So if you look at it side by side,
catches and passing, how many catches
receptions he had? What, that season in 2019? But he had 116 receptions.
Exactly. What are you talking about? It's not close. No, he's not. He's not.
He's not Christian McCaffrey in the receiving game, no. But I would say he's comparable in the rushing game. But knowing that Christian McCaffrey has that receiving prowess, then of course, no, he's not. He's not the same as Christian McCaffrey. It's I wouldn't even. I would say it's salt and pepper or it's night and day, but that's kind of pun intended. Pun intended. Yeah. But I mean, Christian McCaffrey definitely got that. He was just acting emotional. I don't personally think that I'm just doing it for the show. Like the stats are not necessarily comparable, but they do have some similarities in their game. Whatever. But yes, Christian McCaffrey is better than Rashard Mendenhall. Head over heels better. So, but but him saying that he's better than Christian McCaffrey is crazy. It's crazy.
That's what I interpret it. Now it could be something complete. He could be talking about somebody completely different, but that's how I interpret it.
Yeah,
is that he's talking about Christian McCaffrey. But anyway, so first off, he's asking for a black-white Pro Bowl. Can we just get the normal Pro Bowl back?
Can we just get the Pro Bowl back, bro? Oh, God.
Trash. It's absolutely trash.
Garbage.
Let us get that first. Where they're actually tackling players to the ground and doing all that type of stuff rather than thudding up
and pulling flags.
Glorified walkthrough that they're doing. Let's get the regular Pro Bowl back before we even think about anything different. As far as his statement, though, I can't rock with that.
Who do you think will win?
Oh, well, I mean, I agree with you. I think
is it obvious? Is it obvious? Is it obvious?
I don't think it's obvious. I think it's closer than we think it is.
I agree. I agree.
I think the brothers pull it out. As far as his statements, though, I can't say that I rock with it because we already live in a divisive climate.
Agreed.
And this just adds fuel to fire. We can't expect for the white group to not send racist remarks our way when we have individuals doing stuff like this. I know the saying, the oppressed can't be racist, but
that's bullshit.
It's just wrong.
That's bullshit.
It's just wrong. You can't say stuff like this and then expect for them not to retaliate or say something, send another shot back in your direction. It's just, I don't know. I feel like somebody said something to him or about him, or he went back and saw something that he didn't like about somebody. Somebody said something about his play or whatever that got him put out the league. I don't know. He just acted irrational and emotional and decided to tweet out some information, and it got this big blow up and this amount of widely talked about and discussed topic of what if and why would he say something like that, that now it's just like we're talking about it here on Too Complex Podcast amongst other outlets that are talking about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gone so far as there's a Madden simulation of a white black girl. now,
stupid.
Now, Madden,
It's
Madden.
So stupid.
I don't think Madden is in charge of it. I just think somebody took it upon themselves to,
Of course,
to play it out on Madden. But that's how far it's gone. And
Who won?
It's just ridiculous because now you have this rhetoric and this uncomfortable conversation, I guess. I mean, a lot of the outlets are just taking it as tongue in cheeks, like, okay, he made a statement. This is what I think. It's just ridiculous, whatever, moved on. But some people that were a part of ESPN and Fox Sports that have their own little platforms now, they're like really going in on him. Like, I mean, come on. He's just wrong for it. Long story short.
Who won the Madden game?
Oh, it was the blacks won. I shouldn't say the blacks. The black team won.
Mm-hmm.
The black race won. I don't know how you say that.
How do you say that?
But it was a shootout. It was a shootout. It was like 69-58 or something like that.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the last question before we move on to the next topic: who starts at quarterback for each team? Current NFL. We ain't talking about historic. Current NFL. Who starts at QB for each team?
I think Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
With Lamar Jackson backing him up.
Okay.
And everybody's healthy.
Everybody's healthy.
Everybody's healthy. I think it is Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
And I think it's a toss-up between Joe Burrow and
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen
as far as the backup. Me, I had the same thing for the day rate, the day team. The day team. I had the same thing as you for the day team with Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow or Josh Allen toss up. But I flipped the night team with Lamar Jackson starting and Patrick Mahomes backing them up. Just because as of right now, Lamar to me is having a better season than Pat.
Well, yeah. He has more weapons than
he definitely does. I agree with that.
Than Mahomes. Yeah.
I agree with that. But yeah. So moving on to the last topic of the day, man. Anthony Edwards, bro. We have to figure out how we can, because we talked about this a couple of times on the show, D-Lo, where the younger generation is lacking a lot of guidance and a lot in certain areas from generations like ours and generations before us. So Anthony Edwards is in the news because of some text messages that surfaced, and we're going to talk about that too. Some text messages that surfaced from a side chick of his, an Instagram model that he was dealing with on the side of his, I don't know if they're married or his fiance or girlfriend that is also about to bear a child. But some text messages surfaced about her getting can I say that
terminating?
Or terminating a pregnancy. And him saying some very disparaging things or some very denigrating things to his character through these text messages. And it got to a point where they say, allegedly, he offered her $100,000 to go through with the termination of the pregnancy. D-Lo, is there a lack of guidance for younger athletes these days, especially the ones who are that are playing professional sports and are getting these huge contracts? Should there be more guidance for these guys, bro?
I don't know if I'll go as far as to say there should be more guidance when we talk about these isolated events and like few and far events that occur in sports with the young stars of the league. Because if you think about it, realistically, we've only talked about Ja, not just us, but in general, Ja and his situation with the guns. We've talked about Zion and his situation with
Mariah
Mills, and now we're talking about Anthony Edwards.
But you can also look at PJ Washington and the situation with Shorty too, and going through that whole situation as well. Like you can talk. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
else other than those four? Because I forgot about PJ. I should have. He's right here.
Yeah.
Other than those four, that's just a
A
I
small
shouldn't say
sample
small,
size.
but that's
Yeah.
a small percentage of the actual young players in the league. So guidance is realistically guidance. If we're basing it off of those individuals, yeah, they need more guidance. But in the grand scheme of things, I think players are handling their success relatively well. Now, you do, as we see, you do have the one-off situations. You do have the one-off situations where you have these instances, but for the most part, you don't see that.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess so, because it's one of those things where you have to, there has to be somebody that is in their ear, like, bro, you have an amazing situation. You've got this huge contract. You are playing very, very well. Just try to figure out a way to stay out of trouble. That's all that you have a good woman at home. She's about to have a child. You don't need to be messing with these IG models out here, bro. Like there's gotta be like a vet or somebody that can say, look, bro, like just calm down, chill. You got a good situation here, bro. You playing great. Like I understand that you're young and you know what I'm saying, you have your needs and your wants and you do things, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't sit here and act like whenever I was in Miami, I ain't go crazy. So I can't sit here and say that. But at the same time, it's like I actually had people there that was like, hey young brother, slow down. Like, or these people, or the coaching staff is going to notice that you out here wilding, and they probably going to get you up out of here. And that's exactly what the hell happened. You know what I'm saying? Ted Ginn Sr. came to me and said, bro, this ain't the environment for you. You can't handle this. So we're going to have to let you go. And they sent my ass home. So this is, and I wasn't a draft pick. I wasn't a $200 million man like Anthony Edwards. But at the same time, it's like, you got to have somebody to sit here and tell you, like, bro, you wildin', dog. You wildin'. Like you got to chill out. Like we gonna need you around. You playing very well. You're a great asset to this organization. Like we need you. So you got to figure out a way to chill out. And I was talking to a couple of my gamer homies, and I was talking to my lady about it. Like, I want to start some kind of like consultation business like that tech and bring in these younger athletes and try to tell them, like, take it from me. You got to be able to manage your money and manage your hormones, because if you don't, you're going to be in some problems. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how I would start that or what even the premise of it would be, but it's just me talking like, damn, if I had this kind of guidance whenever I was coming up and when I was going into the league, I would have probably still been there, but I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is something that we can, that us and our generation and the one before us can offer these guys, but who knows how we would start it. The next thing I wanted to talk about too was everything don't have to be public. Everything don't have to be public. This is a private conversation that, to be perfectly honest, was he in the wrong? Yes. What he said was wrong. But nobody would have known if she didn't post all this shit on social media. Nobody would have known. They could have got through this amicably. And of course, some of the things he said was fucked up in the text messages, but this didn't have to be public. Like, why does everything have to be public? Why do you have to leverage something that somebody says to you to the public, to the public eye, to make your situation seem better? Like, which it's just so stupid to me. If it was me or you, which this would never happen, ladies, don't trip. But if this was me and you, this would have never been public. But since it's Anthony Edwards, who just signed a $200+ million contract, now this shit goes public. Like, why? Why? It's his fault that he's in the situation. But why did you have to post these text messages on the internet? Like, it just don't make any fucking sense. Like, keep your public problems to yourself.
Yeah. I hate the internet age or the social media age that we live in right now.
I swear, bro.
It seems like this stuff always finds the light on social media. It's like people run to that as their comfort or their consultation. Their consoling is what they run to.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what he texted me. You know, it's trying to get some validity,
some kind of attention.
And what attention in what they're using. If I wanted all of this to be public, I would have went to your Instagram page and wrote a message underneath your one of your pictures to let everybody know, hey, talking to you. But obviously I didn't. I sent you a text message so that we could try to handle this on our own, in private. And then if we can't handle it privately and it has to go through mediation, all that stuff, and it gets public that way, fine. But for you to take this route, to go online, to show everything that I said to you, was I wrong? Yes, I was wrong. I shouldn't have talked to you in that manner, especially when we both interacted, engaging in that activity. This was the result of that. I shouldn't have talked to you that. I shouldn't have talked to you like that. But for you to share private conversations with your 1 million followers, and then now it's blown up out of magnitude, is really crazy. So I really hate the fact that everything has to be played out on social media,
Right.
in order for it to have some validity. As far as Anthony Edwards, this shit happens every day to regular Joes like you and me, and nobody bats an eye with it.
Nope.
Right? It just okay. Just cost of doing business. But because it's Anthony Edwards, because he's an NBA player, because he just signed a contract in July for $217, potentially $260 million, we have to give our attention to this. And we spend too much time focusing on what celebrities do and not enough time on what we can do to get into similar situations as they are. Obviously, the percentages aren't in our favor most times to make that type of money, but we can always strive to do that. And so I find it hard to pay a lot of attention to this. Now, you and I, we do a podcast. This is the stuff that we talk about on a given basis, and we have to give attention to it. But the reason it's blown out of proportion is because obviously others outside of the media, the average Joe, is talking about this because of who he is. And so is it fair? In all honesty, no. But because of who he is, because of the status that he holds in the grand scheme of things, is always talked about. But this shit happens all the time. Like, we know some homies that have had these conversations with females, and maybe they can't pay them $100,000 to get rid of it.
Right.
And we're not saying that we are for or against that type of activity as well, but it happens all the time. We give it too much attention, blow stuff up when it really doesn't need to be blown up.
I agree, bro. And I don't know if you heard what Stephen A. Smith said on his show in regards to this, but he went on his show and was like, when does this become a breach of privacy situation? And I'm not talking about it just because he's a man or because he's an athlete, but men and women do this. They go and they post conversations on social media so they can get some kind of attention or some kind of, somebody to be on their side and get some kind of care for, to have somebody else care about what they're going through. So it's not just, it's men and women too. So when does it become a breach of privacy? Because this did not have to be public.
Right.
It did not have to be public. Like, I understand that you're an IG model. You got 1 million followers. Your life is on social media. I get that. But this is a private conversation between you and the man trying to figure out how y'all gonna handle this very, very private situation. And yes, some of the things that he said to you were fucked up. I get that. He came out and apologized for him. He said that the comments in the heat of the moment are not me. They're not aligned with what I believe and who I want to be as a man. He came out and apologized for a lot of the things that he said to you.
That's PR, but
it is agreed. But he put the statement out there. He didn't delete it like the baby did, but we're not gonna get into that. But you didn't have to post this shit. You didn't. Nobody does. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but she didn't have to post it, and he didn't. All of this would have been solved if he didn't even do the shit. Personally, he in the wrong 100%. This is his fault. He got himself in this situation, but. Yeah. In this situation, keep that private matter private. And that's what I say all the time. Like, social media will fuck up your relationships and fuck up your life if you don't keep your private life private. Post what you want people to see, but everything doesn't have to be made. Every problem you're going through doesn't have to be made public. That's my point. I'm sorry. I went off.
I think that's the transparency thing that we try to live in. we're a very conflicted being right now when it comes
Agreed.
to how to
Agreed.
live life and social media and all that. Because on one end of the spectrum, we're saying that it's unfair that these apps and these different companies, corporations can invade our privacy and see stuff. On the other hand, we freely give this information up all the time. So, like,
Truth.
make your mind up. Do you want to be transparent and just nothing is private, or do you want privacy? Because if you want one or the other, then when the opposite happens, don't be upset, or when it doesn't happen, don't be upset.
Facts, man. So hopefully, all of this goes the right way, and he's still playing. He hasn't been suspended. He's still playing well for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and everything is still going good. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure it did impact.
I would ask a question: why should he be suspended for that?
No. I mean, I don't think he should be, but it's a situation where conduct detrimental to the team type shit. Like, I don't know. I just put that out there. Just say he's still playing. He's still playing well, but I'm pretty sure this put a damper on his personal life with his now current girlfriend, fiance, whatever she is to him, that is also bearing child. So
right.
And again,
he said he didn't want kids.
He said in the text message that he don't want kids, but he's having one current. He's about to have one currently with his actual girlfriend. So that's just to say that she was a side chick, which is fucked up.
So she knew. She probably knew.
Of course she did, and that's why she put it out. But I'm not going. That's a conversation for another day.
100%.
Conversation for another day, brother.
Yeah. All right, man. Episode 49.
49, D-Lo.
My boy.
49, D-Lo. We're coming up on 50 real quick. Merry Christmas to you too, my brother.
Merry Christmas to you all. Merry Christmas to you as well, my guy. Merry Christmas to you that are listening. We hope you all have a safe and happy holiday season. Enjoy the time with your family. If you're taking time off from work, we're glad that you are spending time with us in your time off. We want to make sure that you get some rest, well-deserved rest, recuperate, and go back into the workplace, your 9 to 5 or whatever the space that you're in, ready to kill it in the year 2024.
Be safe. No Jager Bombs. Always. No Jager Bombs.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, because apparently
it's a gateway drug
to Walter White. Yeah. With that being said, man, thanks for tuning in to Too Complex. Remember that life is short and oftentimes complex, but when it becomes too complex, don't forget to be afraid to lean on those that you love to help you find simplicity and balance in life. Stay prayed up in this crazy world. A few requests thrown above can return you peace and sanity. We want to thank you for loving us and supporting this podcast. It means the world to us. We're sending our love right back. Don't forget to subscribe on all of your social media platforms. That would be YouTube, Twitter, or no, we're not even on Twitter. Damn, I said Twitter. Threads. And TikTok and Instagram. You can find us at Too Complex Pod, as well as subscribe to wherever you're listening to your streaming platforms currently. With that being said, remember, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. Until next time, we'll see you when we see you. Happy holidays. Salute.